Hi folks, today I got something special for you. We're going to try to find out which is my most accurate revolver out of 5 revolvers. Now previously I did 538s, but that was more as a defensive tool, whereas I did medium pace drawing and shooting at 12 yards, 3-round static with 3 different types of ammo, and then a 7-yard side step left while drawing as fast as you can like a typical defensive gun use. Today we're looking at straight up accuracy from these 5 revolvers. If we get to it with 3 different types and grain weights of ammunition, we will start small first with the Rossi RP63. This has a night sight and therefore heavier ammo hits high, but let's look for group size more than location. Next is the 3-inch Colt Detective Special, Black Beauty, one of a kind. Look at this, shrouded. Here it stocks all the goodness, premium grips stocks here, also known as grips, and she's really special. So 5 different manufacturers: Rossi, Colt, now Ruger, Talo Edition, GP 100, 7-shot 357 Magnum, 3-inch barrel with a fiber optic front that might help these aging Mark I eyeballs. Charter Arms, Double Dog, multi-caliber, here with the 357 cylinder installed. We'll be shooting 38 special, 4.2-inch ported barrel. No paint on this sight. That might change. And next is brand new, but not really, Smith & Wesson 4-inch K-frame 38 special, K38 pre-model 15. We all know Paul Harrell loved his Model 15, so I think he would appreciate this actually pretty rare, especially Model K38. We'll start with PPU, 158 grain, lead semi-wad cutter hollow point, then cellular and billet, slit and below, 148 grain lead wad cutters, and if we get to it, 38 special federal, 130 grain FMJ, my last box of this. And at the very end, I don't know if we'll do it in this video, I'm going to shoot 6 rounds, even though it's plus P, of the 158 grain FBI or St. Louis load through that in the 4-inch Smith. So let's find out which is the most accurate of these revolvers. We got Rossi, we got Colt, we got Ruger, we got Charter Arms, and we got Smith & Wesson. Which is your favorite manufacturer? Let's get going with the PPU ammo. This is only possible because of help from PPU and Federal. So there you go. And guys, for all my range videos on all these revolvers other than the K38, don't have one yet. For the range videos, look at my Paul Harrell tribute playlist. That's where I put all my ballistics tests, modern meat target, water jug correlated organic gel, all my revolver range videos, double action, single action, traditional TDA, autos, shotgun patterning, 12 gauge for home defense, and all that. Okay, first up is the Rossi RP63. Now, because of this Ameriglow night sight, because it was my favorite Access big dot that I got in my Taurus doesn't fit on here. Had to get the Ameriglow. It hits high with 158s. So the group location is going to be high, hopefully not off paper here at 10 yards. I debate whether 10 or 12 is the best at 10 yards. 130 is closer to carry with 125 357 Magnum ammo or 130 plus P Hydra Shock deep. Okay? With premium wood grips on this. Fortunately, these don't have my wolf logo yet, but get custom wolf grips at customwolfgrips.com. Click the link, go over to premium grips, get Dan the Wolfman's custom wolf grips for Rossi RP63 Charter Arms, Smith & Wesson J frames, and Taurus small frames. Be interesting to see because we have got 3 357 Magnum chambered. We have different sights. We got 3 revolvers here that are 3-inch, and we have one that's 4 and one that's 4.2. Okay, next up is the Colt Detective Special 3-inch Black Beauty, one of a kind. Check out that video. Let me load up. All right, next with the Colt, this one will probably hit a little high left, I believe. Next up is the 3-inch Talo edition Ruger GP100 7-shot 357 Magnum. These will probably hit high in this as well because I believe I got it sighted in around 125 grain 357 Magnum. Charter Arms Double Dog with these awesome custom wolf grips available at Premium Grips Dan Wolfman. Four-inch Smith. To shoot a 4-inch Smith accurately, I'll show you how it's done. Awesome trigger, awesome trigger. I think for pulling through all the way a little quicker, the Smith and the Ruger probably take it. I have no idea what these results are going to look like. And that's kind of the fun of making these occasional slow burn videos. If you want to see awesome fast stuff, look at me when I'm training and moving with Striker 9s and 45s and 40s and all of that. Okay, group size with the Rossi RP63 is not bad. I mean, it's high. I knew it would be high, aiming about here. It's high and just slightly right on a couple, maybe faster pulls. But I don't think that's bad for 10 yards with gutter sights. Next up is the Colt Black Beauty. 5 out of the 6 are pretty tight as well. I guess that's my flyer. 5 out of the 6 is not bad. Actually, a little bit wider than the Rossi group. That's interesting. If I take the 6, definitely more so. I thought it was going to be high left. It's high right a little bit. Interesting. Next up with the Ruger GP100, very tight and pretty centered and not high. So we're high with one of them. Wow, one very bad trigger pull. Kind of doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think there might be a double. At least 4 there, 9 or 10 ring with a GP100. I'll have to look at that off camera. Here we go with the GP100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure where 6 is. I don't know if one of those is a double. Okay. Charter Arms. Look like I managed to barely get the sight over to the right. We got 1, 2, 3. 2 in the 9, 1 in the 10 ring, and 2 up high. But fairly centered, just a little bit left. 1, 2, 3. 110, breaking the line, 10, 9 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, and I was pulling probably the fastest trigger pulls with the biggest, I don't want to say the heaviest, that and the rear are a toss-up, but the Combat Masterpiece, and not a surprise for old classic Smiths, not the new stuff. The trigger on this is sweet. Very tight with the Rossi. 5 out of 6, probably the reload screwed up the hold. So 5 very tight with the, oh no, that was the Colt. 5 out of the 6 very tight with the Colt. At least 4, maybe 5 with the Ruger. The Charter surprises me how good that is because I'm not as secure. The front plate's pretty wide in the rear notch. And the rear notch, I can't get it drifted to the right quite now. But the Combat Masterpiece definitely takes this round Maybe with the Rossi in second. So let me know what you guys think. And if you haven't clicked off yet, stay tuned. Let's go to the wadcutters next. All right, now everything with the SMB 148 grain lead wadcutter. What's a wadcutter? That is, punches clean holes through paper or other things, which gets full value because of hydrodynamics, fluid dynamics. So look at my video doing water jug ballistics testing with this versus the copper plated Precision 1 wad cutters, how much penetration it gets. So you might want to check that out. I'm going to throw these SMBs downrange. We use the Precision 1 copper plated wad cutters in the 538's most accurate kind of defensively video. So first up with the Rossi RP63. And again, find those, please subscribe and look at my Paul Harrell tribute playlist. Other reasons for wad cutters, especially in like lightweight J frames, or when you're getting older, arthritic, bad hands, you know, RA, lupus, that kind of thing. Low recoil wad cutters. Not as much as the best Talo points as far as tissue crush, tissue damage, but not a bad choice for the elderly or arthritic or whatever. All right, now for the 3-inch Colt Detective Special Black Beauty, aka BB King. If you want to know, Dan the Wolfman likes classic rock, 80s heavy metal, but I've recently really come to love the blues, like BB King, Muddy Waters, John Lee Hooker, and classics such as this Colt. Stocks kind of rock back for this low recoil ammo. Boy, they look nice. Why a revolver? Because they're cool, and some days, slow days like this, is going to make that trigger press and grip to not destabilize the sights while you're pulling through the heavier, longer double action trigger. It makes you a better pistol shooter. So every now and then, have fun and shoot some wheel guns. Okay? I was aiming a little left. I wonder where it'll go. It seems like sometimes striker fired guns, most people shoot low left, but sometimes with double action triggers, I pull high right. Does anyone else find that? We will see. But in this like 37-ounce revolver, I believe it is, recoil with little wad cutters is nothing. As you saw, I felt comfortable pulling all the way through a little quicker. Next up, Tread Arms Devil Dog. And if you know an aging Devil Dog, you might want to get him the Devil Dog so he can unscrew and put in the 9mm cylinder for cheaper training. Most people do 3-shot or 5-shot groups. I am doing 6, even though this is a 5-shooter. What are you carrying? 4-inch Smith. Wheel gun. A lot of old timers carry those. This and the Ruger are the easiest to shoot quickly to try and get fairly decent precision. We'll see how pulling that fast pans out. All right, some interesting results here, and this might be an example of what Paul Harrell said. Obviously, go watch everything he ever did. I really suggest it, where different guns like different ammo. The Rossi, again, for a cheap small frame gutter sight revolver, even though it's hitting high again with higher grain weight because I changed the front sight. With the blade, it's probably on with this stuff, but a very, for me, a tight group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just high and maybe slightly to the left overall. Now, with the Colt Detective Special, it's weird, I have vertical stringing. Now, the one that's high, I think that might have been when I made the comment about the stocks rocking back. I think I felt it through one of the trigger pulls. That's that one. This one, I don't have an excuse for. I am wondering if this S&B wadcutters is as precise as the copper-plated Precision 1 wadcutters, which I bought on my own. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but that's interesting. What's even more interesting is look at the group location with the Ruger. I am way, way off to the right. It looks like one high, but 5 of them are very tight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the tightest so far, at least with 5 out of the 6 shots with the Ruger. But I mean, very big point of impact shift from point of aim. And yet with the Charter Arms, we knew it was shooting a little left. That's my group right there. I mean, that's not bad. That's probably bad on me. Pulling through the trigger, I feel a little hitch on the Charter Arms. Maybe this one throws me high. That masterpiece, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But like the GP100, weirdly the shift to the right. But the Charter Arms, the Colt Detective, and the Rossi did not have a shift to the right. Different guns like different ammo. So before your carry ammo, whatever it is, you do need to check point of aim, point of impact. Revolvers are much more susceptible to point of aim, point of impact shifts with various ammo and grain weights compared to like a 9mm autoloader. So, interesting results. Guys, this would not be possible without the help of PPU, Privy Partisan, and Federal. I use them both as my training ammo, and for hollow point carry ammo, it's Federal all the way. Please look at all my ballistics tests. 38 Special. Number 1 by far is 130 plus P hydroshot deep. Number 2 would probably be 120 plus P Federal punch. And then there's a couple others that are okay, depending on your needs, and especially barrel length. Things change with barrel length, such as this. Look at my ballistics test, the old FBI load, 158 plus P semi-wad cutter hollow point. Old school did really, really good from 4-inch. Did okay-ish. I wouldn't hate carrying it in 3-inch, though I think there's slightly better choices, like I mentioned. But 2-inch, nowadays, there's better choices. Back in the day, there wasn't. So, 130 grain, Federal, FMJ. Yeah, draw. Some pretty poppy, good training loads. All right, BB King's 10, Colt Black Beauty. Hey, we're good GP100, baby. And FYI, to carry to the range, I had hydroshot deep in it. I've got a speed strip in my watch pocket, hard to get to in these particular jeans. I got a split 6 speed loader, which is the best to like hide half of the speed loader with a HKS 10 gun guy. And then you would carry a lightweight, like my 856 Ultralight or something similar, or a Charter Arms, or even a J-frame as your weak side backup gun, available on the other hand for your New York reload. is the Target Double Dog because it's 4.2 inch ported barrel instead of the 2.2 inch ported barrel. That's available too if you're looking for like 357 or 9mm carry. Though of course you can do 38 too, but then you're at 5 shots. Little high maybe. Fort Smith, and if you're old enough to watch our revolver video with this old guy, I'm guessing you get the reference from Sergeant Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. This has he had a different rubber grip on his. This is the Hogue mono grip for anyone interested. Would it look nicer with a nice wood grip on it? Rosewood checkered is usually my favorite. Yes, absolutely. If someone wants to send me one, like Ultima or premium grips, you don't have one for it, you have for J-frame, that would be awesome, but this would be pretty good for carry. Okay. Yes, and I think these results are kind of interesting. So it was going faster. We're lighter grain weight, kind of faster, 130 grain FMJ. With the Rossi, I'm surprised because basically 125 or 130 FMJ when I can get it is kind of the training ammo I now have to dedicate to it. Kind of messed myself up by putting the night sight on it. It is what it is. But going fast. High right, that surprises me. High right, 1, 2, and 3 touching, 1, 2, 3. The mechanical accuracy for the Rossi seems to be very high, this one. My other one seems to shoot left with lightweight 357. And yet tight groups, like really tight, look at with 158 grain hollow points. 2 dead center 10 rings with the Detective, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, I think that's more maybe where my thumb is on the hair. It stocks. It's kind of rocking up. I think the shift is from the grips. The revolver stocks you can change, especially for like I carry a revolver. It has to go together. It's got to be peanut butter and jelly with your hand size and configuration and the way you grip it and everything like that. I do the support thumb there. I do a modern thumb support grip on autos, but revolvers I do that like most people do, but a lot of people do some weird stuff, all kinds of things. With the GP100, 2 of the 3 ammo is good. We'll go over that later. 1 10 ring, 2 9 rings, 2 8 rings, and 1 high right. But I mean, that's a fist at 10 yards. I think Greg Lionquest Fitness would think that's pretty good. Gun Sam, hrfunk. What do you guys think? Now the Charter Arms with this ammo, or maybe pulling the trigger faster, it's weird. I felt defensively good when I did the first go around with 357 and 38. Here it's like a shotgun pattern. As well as left. Me pulling through that trigger isn't very good. Maybe I need to clean and lube it. That might help smooth things out. With the K38, interesting again. Very tight group for as fast as I went. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 of these are touching. A 9, an 8, an 8, a 7, a 7, and a 6. That's a tight group for going at that speed at 10 yards. The Combat Masterpiece is living up to its name. Back in the day, pre-Model 15, early Model 15 is probably what you get. But a point of impact shift to the right, like it did with the 148 wadcutters. The GP100, however, didn't shift to the right like it did with the wadcutters. So let's go over the results with all 3 ammo. All right, guys, some pretty wild results. 3 of these revolvers have adjustable sights, and 2 of them do not. With 158 grain PPU semi-wad cutter hollow point, going by group size, not group location. Going by group size, it's the Rossi, the budget Rossi RP63. Now this one is more accurate than my other one. It had a little work and it's very cleaned up. Now high, but cleaned up. High is because I changed the night sight. Maybe I need to put the ramp back on, paint in orange. But that's pretty awesome. Number 2 is clearly the combat masterpiece, and score-wise, pretty nice for me. I'm obviously not a group shooter. I only do it a few times in these videos. Basically, never on my own time. I always do defensive stuff. But 54 out of 60 and centered with the old Smith K38. GP 100, 4 or maybe 5 here, 9 ring or better, I don't know. 1 flyer really bad, unless there was a really other bad flyer. Same thing with the Charter Arms, did good with a 158, pretty centered, a little high, I could adjust that, and 158s might be good to go in the Charter Arms Double Dog. Even the old Colt Detective Special, that's a very nice, combat efficient group there. Look at how tight that is. Look how tight that is. Look how tight at least 4, maybe 5 are there. Look how that is almost half of it. That's covered by a fist with the Charter Arms. So, is it surprising that 38 Special, which was founded on 158 grain weight ammo, everything it seemed like the 158 grain is the best. Also with the smallest amount of point of impact shift. Now let's look at the SMB 148 grain wad cutters next. As far as group size, look what the Rossi RP63 did again. Sorry, can you guys see that? Look what the Rossi RP63 did again. For me, that's very good. It's high, but not even so high. With these wad cutters, I'd like to check the Precision 1 copper-plated wad cutters. That's still usable to me. If a defensive tool hits a little high, I'm okay with that, because if I aim there and I hit there, that's still good to go. A little low, not so much. Hostage situation, smaller female in front of them. I don't want to aim here, bad trigger pull, low left, and then it goes there and hits her. So I'm okay with a little high. As you're yanking fast, people tend to shoot low. So a little high instead of here where you're going for. If I hit up here, hopefully I'm hitting piping or veins or something good. Rocking up with the Colt Detective Special, GP 100. We got 5 very tight, but off to the right with GP 100 and one bad trigger pull on me. Charter Arms, 3 are very tight, 9 rings. 3 are very tight. Here, again, I started to pull the trigger a little faster through the 3 different ammos, types of ammunition, I should say. 3 very tight, a little left. It's hard to adjust that rear sight, at least without even a smaller screwdriver than what I was able to borrow at the range today. As far as group size, the combat masterpiece with the wad cutters, looking at that, though you see an obvious drift off to the right. Ruger drift off to the right. So pretty significant drifting off point of impact to the right with both the Smith and the Ruger. That is important stuff. Interesting to know. So number 1, Rossi. Number 2, combat masterpiece. And with the 130 grain Federal FMJ, barely to my eyeball. So it's like less than 3 inch, the best I can measure here. I don't have it. Less than 3 inch, then you'd minus the 355, 356, depending. From it to get your group size, for me, that's really good. Barely the Federal, the Rossi, I should do this better, sorry. The Rossi wins out here. Barely, it seems like, it's so close. Then the Smith & Wesson. high right with the FMJ, surprisingly, and centered right, point impact shift with the Combat Masterpiece, but very tight groups. With the Ruger, number 3 place, just a little high. Just a little high and slightly right, 51 out of 60. So not a big point of impact shift with the GP100. The Colt Detective, a little bit. 210s though. Charter Arms was all over the place with the 130, or maybe group size, not location. Everything was high, but group size. The Rossi is clearly number 1, and group size, the Smith & Wesson is number 2. As far as group location, the Colt and the Ruger and the Smith, then the Ruger, then the Colt did the best with, as far as group location, with the 158s. So did the GP100, so did the Charter Arms. So revolvers like 158 grain is, at least these 5 revolvers, what I would say. Back to the wadcutters. High, centered, a little left of the Charter Arms, very right with the GP100, very right with the Smith & Wesson. So slow, maybe it's too slow velocity, very putty, the S&B led wadcutters. Big point of impact shift. Federal FMJ, impact high right, but still very tight group with the Rossi. High right with the Colt Detective. Most left with the Charter Arms. Very nice grouping and only a little high with the GP100 with the 130 FMJ. Perfectly acceptable if it was a self-defense projectile, which it's not. It's not. Don't carry it with FMJ. And Charter Arms to the left. Combat Masterpiece way to the right with the 130 FMJ. So we see group location changes. Different revolvers like different ammo. It seems revolvers like 158 grain, both for what it's set for, group location and group size. The 148s here were so slow, I think that's giving, by barrel twist, the point of impact shifts. And even the 130 FMJs did different things than the different revolvers. But cheap revolver, cleaned up a little bit, paid a guy to clean it up a little bit. He did a very good job. You might want to check that out. This revolver is very accurate group sizes. Too bad now it's almost everything's hitting too high, burying and just seeing the top of the night sight. And if you use the dot, the tritium is really low on the Ameriglow. It's kind of a weird, bad design. But defensively at 5 yards, you're okay. A little higher than lower for most shooters. But is it surprising that this cheap Rossi beat out this classic Smith? I find that, and a very rare one-of-a-kind Colt Detective, I find that very surprising, and a very expensive Ruger. The Ruger did good overall, but it is what it is. So, super long one today. Maybe I have to edit it and cut it to 2. Thank you guys very much. Thumbs up, share, subscribe, get down there in the comments. Please get in the comments. Please comment. And let me know which revolver was your favorite, or which ammo grain weight you like, or which one you think did the best. Please let me know. Subscribe and look at my Paul Harrell tribute playlist. I think Paul would have liked the Combat Masterpiece, and you know what? I really, really like it too. So I like that, and the Rossi. I just wish the Rossi didn't hit so high. There you guys go. Kaboom.